And again, a team staff effort, and again, it's been kind of the way recruiting's changed. These kids making early commitments and stuff like that. I really don't think it has anything to do with my role or what we've done.
Is that the new normal, you think, or is this an aberration year?
No, I think it's a new normal, and then it'll continue to speed up. I really do. And again, as we've all talked in the past, we were pushing 2 years ago, to get an early signing day. The same time junior college kids were signing in December. And I think you'll kind of see that, maybe a push get bigger and bigger with that as these kids make these earlier commitments and stuff.
Is this a good thing, though, that the clock's sped up?
It's so weird now. I mean, it really is, because, we're getting, as Tom and I were talking, we're getting kids coming in March and April just watching our practice and then making commitments after that. It used to be, you bring kids in on official visits so they get 48 hours. 2-3 years ago, you'd bring kids in June, they'd at least be with you for 8-9 hours, get all around campus, make a decision. Now they're here watching a practice, doing something for 2 hours, and making a decision. So, again,
how does that change what you guys have to do then, in terms of making an early impression? I would think, right?
You have to make an early impression. You have to get them as much information as soon as possible as you can. And then, we had a couple kids come in that had been committed that really hadn't been on campus. So you're actually showing them the campus, and you're hopefully, you're hoping that they're impressed with the campus coming out as they were going in with their commitment. So it's a little different in that respect.
Where are you guys at, obviously, with your verbals, and where do you think you guys will end up?
We're very close to being done.
Okay.
We are very, very close to being done. We've got a couple spots here and there that we may try to shore up, but for the most part, as long as we maintain all our commitments, we're pretty close to being done.
So you have a certain best available at this point, certain position? Running back, I would think?
I'd say, we're recruiting 1 or 2 positions, and it could flip into the best available, possibly, but I'd say right now, if you were given a percentage, I'd say 60 to 70% we're recruiting a certain position. But if something pops up, we may take somebody. But, it'd have to be a certain somebody to pop that position, really.
What do you guys do? Because obviously with these early commitments, there's a bit greater chance of decommitments, I would think. How do you kind of anticipate that? Yeah, just kind of
pad your nose. That's the scary part, because you hope you're recruiting high character kids that they'll maintain their commitment. But there's a lot that can happen in their senior years from their standpoint. Kids change their mind based on what seasons happen and stuff like that. You try to have a backup plan available, but at the same time, it's hard to recruit that backup plan when you've made promises to other people that say, hey, we're done at your position.
Right.
So, it's a fine line, and in all honesty, we're still trying to learn how to toe that fine line. I wish I could give you a better answer than that.
I would say it's probably a lot of unknowns you're having to deal with.
In all honesty, it's like going into a marriage and saying, hey, honey, I love you, but I'm going to make sure I have a backup plan in case you don't love me. You just don't do that, so it's a little bit different of a deal.
How far along are you guys then in the 14 class, do you feel?
We've got to start on the 14 class, but that is a little bit scary of a deal. I know there are some schools that have a ton of guys offered in that 2014 class, but to us, it's really hard unless the person is a no-brainer and a guy you feel very, very strongly about, which we have some guys in that class. But for us to go full board like we're recruiting the current class, right, it's just hard to do. We're going to get some evaluations, talk to some people in the fall, and go with that. But I think we have an idea of that class, but we don't have a great handle on that class.
Will you be able to get a better handle now? Kirk talked about you getting out on the road a little bit more during the season and getting to see kids. Does that help?
And we've talked about that a little bit, and we'll try to do that. And then you got to be careful with the juniors and stuff, so
yep.
Just on what you do with those guys. But you can go evaluate them, do all that. But again, you toe the fine line that you want to make sure you're taking care of the people that are committed to you
right.
at the same time. So you know, we discussed some things on what we'll do in season with myself and our coaching staff, and you know, it'll be an experimental deal just on how we do it. But I think we'll try to take care of some juniors and some young kids in that respect, but at the same time maintaining our relationship with our committed guys. And you know, you don't want them feeling like you've already forgotten about them before everything's all said and done.
How different is your job since the spring?
It hasn't been too much different, you know. Maybe there's a little bit more time here and there, but you know, just like everything you do from a football standpoint, recruiting's a team effort, and you know, we have a lot of people in the office that assist us from an administrative standpoint. You know, the coaches all still got to do their deal. You know, and I still do a lot of stuff on the field. So I mean, it's changed a little bit, but you know, I know, you know, obviously we read all the internet stuff, and you know, people feel that this role has changed a whole lot and helped us. It hasn't done. I mean, it's the kids that have made earlier commitments. It's, you know, Coach Ferentz. You know, we put a little bit more emphasis on recruiting it because of the shift and how fast everything's moving. So you know, that really has a lot more to do with it than really my role. So.